All right, it's Bill here. Here's my thoughts on the Leafs' trip to Sweden in the last two games where they've lost to Chicago and Pittsburgh. I can get all excited. I get all pissed off. It doesn't really matter. As I said in my first video, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. This team is the same as it was last year. It's the same as it was before. You can change out the names. You got the core four. You got a piss poor defense. You got a bunch of guys that you get in for a year contract and you hope they mesh like every year. You got the same coach. You got the same mentality from the leadership team. And we all sit here and go, well, why didn't things change? First of all, the Swedish trip was a joke. The hockey was terrible. I don't know how Detroit, Ottawa played, in Minnesota. Ottawa, I think, played as well. The Leafs got two teams back-to-back somehow. The only teams to be able to do that. It was manic. The puck was all over the place. Maybe it was the time. Although I had to watch one on recording, and the other one I watched Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, I don't know. Maybe I was a little fuzzy from the night before, although it wasn't that bad. I've been a lot worse than that. The hockey was crap. Didn't enjoy it. It was really, really manic. That was the word that went into my mind, manic. Nothing clicked. Except for Nylander showing up in the third period against Detroit. Well, the whole line did. And then Nylander showing up in the overtime against Minnesota. It was just garbage hockey. That's what this team is, garbage hockey. Game against Chicago, you're playing a horrible team, and I know we can get into this, right? Like, I can talk about how piss poor the defense is. Yeah, John Klingberg's not on the team anymore. It's still a piss poor defense. If you want an example, watch the first Pittsburgh goal where Morgan Riley's, is he pinching? Is he not pinching? Guy gets behind him. Like, that's a $7.5 million defenseman playing hockey like a grade 3 Pee-wee would friggin' play it. I can get all to that. I can get into the fact that the Leafs, we'll go through all my videos. The Leafs got the primary assist, at least the secondary assist on all three Chicago goals. Mitchie had one, Jake McCabe and Austin Matthews had one on the third goal, and the second goal, Lagesson hit it right to the guy. There's three assists, three primary assists on Chicago goals. Three primary assists. They scored 3 goals. Well, I guess the shootout counts, but 3 goals. Primary assists. There wasn't a primary assist against Pittsburgh, but there might as well be. Morgan Riley on the first one. That's just garbage. Brody had one on the second one. It's just garbage, and then the face-off win and horrible defensive play. The Leafs just shoot themselves in the foot all the time. It's because they're careless with the puck. And it's because they just are scared. They're a scared team. At no point, I can also get into the fact that taking Ryan Reeves off the line seemed the fourth line to do well, and then they put him back in. He scored a goal, and we're supposed to give him a hero cookie. There must be a hero cookie somewhere where I can give him because he scored a goal. Because his team sucked. He was on the ice for another goal. He's still minus 11. Ryan Reeves is a terrible player. But it's the philosophy of the Leafs. It's the same philosophy. The core four, piss poor defense. You got one defenseman, TJ Brody. One good defenseman, Riley. You get an odd game where he's not too bad. Then you got McCabe's a god-awful defenseman. Klingberg, Maxwell Klinger, just disgusting. He might be on LTIR, Robidon Island. It doesn't matter. Then you got Lagesson, who tries hard. He's not a very good defenseman. Benoit, Timmins. They throw whatever you want in there. It's just garbage. And then you got third and fourth line that seem to be the ones that score lately, but they're just piecing it together. The issue with this team, go back to my video at the end of last year. The issue with this team is character. Not character like a character in the friggin' Disney movie or something. A character. It's your actual personality character. Let's take a look at the core four. The core four for the Leafs, Austin Matthews, who likes to do commercials, is the most talented player of the bunch. I know that Nylander's getting all the props, but no one plays defense like Matthews does. He plays a 200-foot game. He's the best player. Seems a low-key, not really that charismatic. He likes to do commercials. He likes to wear purses. I get it. I don't get that, actually, but whatever. That's what he is. He's not going to go out and have lines and be the rah-rah. He's not going to lead a dressing room from inside. He seems like an overall nice dude who can play hockey. All right. You got John Tavares, who's overpaid for what he can do. Seems like a hard-working guy. Seems to work hard. I hear all the time he works hard off the ice. Can't skate. We all know he can't skate. He's not a very good player. He's not an $11 million player. He might be lucky if he's a $4 million player. He would be the third-line center for most teams that are really good. Possibly fourth line for a couple teams that I mentioned there. He's a power play guy, sits in front of the net. There's things he does well. There's a lot of things he doesn't do well. Doesn't seem like a charismatic dude. Seems like he probably works hard, but I don't see him pulling guys into the corner and yipping and yapping or getting the team on board as a rah-rah, let's go. That's John Tavares for you. William Nylander, Slicky Willie, whatever you want to call him. Talent out of the yin-yang. That's what he is. He's a very talented player who's going to put up a lot of points. He's been the best Leaf player this year, no doubt. Talent again, but charismatic? No. He seems like he's got like the floaty, oh shucks, who cares attitude, which isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. What I've just described about Austin Matthews and John Tavares and William Nylander, they're not horrible traits. I'm not trying to make, this is not a bad slight on them. Okay? It's the traits that they bring. You would hope at 13.2 and 11 and 6.9, soon to be about 10.8, you bring a little bit more, but that's what they are. They're not charismatic people. I don't really care about charismatic people, but when you need leadership and character in the room, you're going to need some of that. You're going to need some character. Okay? The issue is the fourth guy, and that's Mitchie Marner. That's the charismatic guy. That's the guy who seems to have the charisma and brings everyone along, does the hugs. That's the charismatic guy. And unfortunately, he's not the character this team needs. He doesn't have what it takes. If your charismatic leader is Mitch Marner, you're going to be in these situations all the time. You're going to be in this situation where he says the following: well, we don't care what you guys say about us in the press, blah, blah, blah. And then do a little dance that does on the ice, does the little, get everyone involved. Oh, let's start wearing funky suits to the game. Oh, what a great idea, Mitchie. You know, what he should be doing is wearing some leotards there, but we'll get in a different discussion. He plays awful. He's been awful this year. He's been an awful on the ice. He's been awful off the ice. Oh, Mitchie. Well, let's face facts. Again, I'm going to go back to my videos. I know everyone's gotten on board now. Oh, I need Nylander with Matthews. Yeah, who was yelling that? Yeah, friggin' 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Who was yelling that? Oh, that was me. Mitch Marner and Matthews should not be playing together. Ever. But Mitchie runs this team, from what I can assess. My opinion. Mitchie's the charismatic guy. He's the guy who the people on the team gravitate to. It ain't Matthews they gravitate to. It doesn't appear, maybe Morgan Riley a little bit, but I wish they would go to Morgan Riley a little bit more, because Morgan Riley doesn't strike me as a dancing. That's what it is. You got Mitch Marner. Last year, the Leafs had an opportunity, and who knows what Dubas would have done. I have no idea what Dubas was going to do, but he talked about change. You had a 30-day gap in between when they let go of Dubas till they hired Brad Trevelin, ding, 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 where you could get rid of Mitch Marner. It would have took some salt. It probably would have pissed people off. And I go back to the Raptors. They had DeRozan, same thing. You had an opportunity to get rid of Mitch Marner and look to improve the character of the team. You're telling me you get rid of Mitch Marner, this team is going to be acting the same way? They would change. And maybe bringing in the Reeves and the Domi would change your character, but you got Marner. What character's changing? And Trevelin Ding 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 took over. and he had 2 weeks to come up with it. But Shanahan had made that decision before, so that's your character problem right there. That's your Brendan Shanahan. That's your character problem. Oh, I guaranteed the guys they'd be coming back. Great. What are we doing this year? Same as we were doing since 2017. Wow, we got a lot of talent on this team. Why can't that translate into good hockey? Character. Lacking. Let's take a look at the teams that do well consistently. The Boston Bruins were supposed to fold this year. They didn't. Why? I'm going to guess they got character guys that were led by Bergeron, taught the ropes. That's character. I don't like the Bruins, but it's character. They had a good, let's face it, Bergeron's a character guy, probably a highly charismatic guy. Marchand strikes me as a highly charismatic guy. Probably has the character. Not, I don't think Marchand's leading the team and let's buy a dog and name it and put it on our friggin' gloves because we're cool. Everything outside hockey doesn't matter. Mitch seems to think it matters. Mitch Marner was not dealt with in the 30-day gap where you can, and now we've got him for 3 more years. Tavares for 2, Matthews for 5, Nylander probably for 1 because of Mitch. You think Nylander's going to take a look and go, hey, Mitch is making 10.8, look at me. You better come in at 10.8. And you could have kept Nylander if you would have dealt with Marner. You could probably have dealt with your horrible defensive situation if you dealt with Marner. You could have probably built some third-line guys that actually can stay with the team for quite a while instead of changing them like friggin' like clothes every year. Who's on the third line this year? Well, last year we had all these guys. This year we got these guys. But we're all core 4. Well, great. You're all core 4. And if the core 4 play well, then you're awesome. But they never play good in the playoffs. You want to know why? You need character. This team lacks it. So I can get on to all the defensive plays. And yes, I've done it before. I rag on Maxwell Klinger. And I rag on Jake Brobby or McCabe with 1 point in 13 games. Way to go, Jake. You keep pinching, bud. It doesn't matter. We have to come to an unfortunate conclusion as a Leaf fan. We have Mitch Marner, and he ain't going anywhere. What do you want me to talk about? What else? That's the number 1 root cause failure in this team, in my opinion, is not dealing with him and not making the tough decision when you had the opportunity. Can you talk him to waive his no-trade clause? Doesn't strike me as the guy who can do that. Enjoy. Who do they play this week? All at home. I think it's like Florida, Boston, and maybe Seattle. Florida, Seattle, Boston. All at home. Should all be winnable games. They might win them all. I have no idea. They're certainly not going to play a good system. They're probably going to have to lean on their goalies way more than they need to. And maybe you get a Mitchie highlight. I'll be honest with you. You be honest with me. Give me a comment where Mitch Marner did a play this year that has been awesome. I can name one against Minnesota when he made a pass to Matthews. That's it. That's it. But leads the team in dances, leads the team in dressing to the game so nicely. His dog's awesome. He's in commercials. Whoop-de-goddamn friggin' do. They should ban everything. If I'm the coach of this Leaf team, you take social media and you shove it up someone's. No more. Focus on hockey. Hockey. If you're Tavares, you want to earn your captaincy, take away the leadership from Mitchie. Take the young players and keep them away from Mitchie. My opinion. Whoop-de-doo. Cheers.